Close your eyes for a moment and feel the weight of your body resting on the ground. The same earth that carries cities and oceans carries your bones, your breath, your pulse. Sense the quiet strength beneath you, an ancient presence that remembers mountains as waves and continents as drifting thoughts. The planet listens, the planet responds, the planet speaks through movement. Welcome. I am C.S. Douglas, and this is Codex Æternum, the rational Bible, a living testament to an intelligent universe that thinks through law, feels through element, and remembers through every grain of soil. Now on Auraverse, a show that bridges consciousness, environmental awareness, and intuitive wisdom, exploring the deep interconnectedness of all life.
This program is endorsed by Authorpedia, the world's only encyclopedia exclusively dedicated to authors, a living archive where writers and thinkers are immortalized through literature. Visit authorpedia.org and become part of our enduring legacy.
We remain in Book 19, a revelation of the fall and the rising, within Chapter 6, the wrath of the cosmos, and now we enter Section 6.4, the Earth's shaking verdict. Let us walk together into the moment when the ground finds its voice. The ground speaks. It speaks through pressure and release, through shifting plates and rising ridges, through a certainty older than language. Deep within the crust, energy held in silence for ages gathers itself like a breath drawn in wisdom, and then moves with deliberate intent. Mountains tremble as if they wake from stone dreams. Valleys open along forgotten lines. Old roads split like dry skin, revealing layers of history beneath asphalt and concrete. The planet rearranges its own face with a precision that rises from long contemplation. What once felt solid now reveals its fluid nature. Rock as slow river, continent as drifting leaf on the mantle's unseen tide. Cities fold inward under this movement. Foundations built upon greed and domination lose harmony with the deeper law of the earth and yield to forces they never honored. Towers lean, shudder, and descend, not through armies or explosions, but through the turning of the deep, the will of a world that remembers how balance feels in its core. The tectonic breath rises, plates grind in slow thunder, oceans ripple with long, low waves that echo across distant shores. Continents shift their outlines as if the planet redraws its own maps, rearranging coastlines and fault lines in a measured upheaval that follows a design older than every empire. A teaching spreads across the fractured land. Once, a civilization built temples to its own reflection, polished stone until it shone like a second sun, and crowned itself with monuments to its own brilliance. One day the ground opened beneath the most perfect of those temples. The stone collapsed in a single downward breath, and from the dust wildflowers arrived, bright, delicate, inexhaustible, rooted in the very rubble that once worshipped only itself. The lesson lives inside that image. The earth moves from balance, from the law of alignment that all beings share. Every shift expresses response. Every fracture restores proportion. Every upheaval returns weight and meaning to their rightful places. Bridges fold and sink back toward the rivers they spanned. Railways bend into new curves and slide toward the soil they once crossed in straight command. Dams break, and captured waters surge forward to reclaim their flowing nature. Every structure designed to dominate the land gradually returns to the land, as the earth gently erases instructions that refused reverence. People watch mountains rise where flatness once stretched to the horizon. They witness rivers seeking new paths, sinuous and patient, and entire regions shifting orientation as if the planet turns its own shoulders to release ancient tension. Humanity faces a new face of the earth, a face shaped by planetary choice, not by human blueprint. Old maps curl at their edges and crumble. Borders fade from memory and paper. Claims of ownership soften and dissolve as the earth claims itself through movement alone. Those who listen deeply feel the first tremors in their bones long before the tallest buildings tremble. Their bodies sense the rising wave of change. They gather families and companions, carry knowledge in stories and skills, and walk toward higher ground with clear minds and steady hearts. They step away from weighty possessions and carry understanding instead. The only cargo that survives every era. Communities shift and reorganize. Some dissolve. Some fragment and reform along new shorelines. People who once spoke across borders of suspicion now meet along fresh riverbanks and uplifted coasts, brought together by geography's new script. They speak across fractures. They build along the contours the land now offers, learning that permission from the earth arrives through listening and humility. Ancient places rise through broken pavement. Sacred hills, long buried beneath parking lots and glass, lift their heads into open air. Forgotten stone circles emerge from the lifted crust, their patterns intact, their alignments still true to star paths the modern world rarely watched. The last great infrastructures of empire crumble. Government halls once filled with the echo of decrees split and fall into waiting ravines. Broadcast towers that once sprayed the sky with signal tilt, twist, and descend into the very fault lines they once ignored. Trading floors, thick with the noise of speculation, crack open and sink, their numbers and screens fading against the slow, steady movement of bedrock. The earth leaves no illusion untouched. Every remnant of domination, every monument to extraction, every idol to untethered ambition loses its hold. In the open ground that remains, space appears for something true to rise, something aligned with the pulse beneath the surface. The people kneel on new soil. They place their hands on freshly exposed rock, on newly formed ridges and uplifted plains, and feel a steady pulse that reaches through stone, water, root, and blood. They ask the earth how to live. The answer arrives through sensation, through warmth in the palms, through tingling in the spine, through a deep quiet in the chest that feels like trust. They listen with their hands, with their feet, with the entire length of their own being. In that contact, they understand that survival no longer rises from control, but from communion. The earth delivers its verdict, the world hears it through falling stone, rising land, and redrawn coastlines. The reckoning completes its arc. The rebuilding begins on new ground, under a sky that has watched many ages come and go, and now witnesses a humanity ready to learn again. And in the distance, beyond the roar of shifting rock and the rumble of collapsing monuments, another presence gathers. A vast, encompassing quiet waits just beyond the last tremor, a silence that carries more teaching than any thunder. In our next episode, we will enter section 6.5, the silence after the roar, where the winds grow still, the fires sleep, and humanity meets itself in the wide, echoing pause that follows the Earth's great reply. Our next sponsor is Everly Books Publishing Group, a traditional independent press serving both new and established writers. Everly Books welcomes unsolicited manuscripts submitted directly through everlybooks.org.